Recovered audio TR7332. Source Wvkl 94.7 FM, Harmon, West Virginia. Date of recording October 7th. Duration of anomalous broadcast approximately 6 hours and 14 minutes. Audio recovered from a home recording made by listener Dale Hutchins, who had been taping the station's evening programming for personal archive. The tape was not discovered until 3 weeks after the event, when Mr. Hutchins returned to his home after what he describes as a period of confusion. The following is a transcript of the recoverable audio. Gaps and distortions are noted. The voice has been identified as Martin Klein, Wvkl's evening weather presenter and station manager. Mr. Klein has not been located. The recording begins at approximately 8:47 p.m. The station's regular programming, a syndicated oldies block, cuts out mid-song. There is 4 seconds of dead air. Then Martin Klein's voice. He sounds calm. He sounds like a man who has done this 1,000 times. Because he has. Good evening. This is Martin Klein with your Wvkl evening forecast for Harmon and the surrounding valleys. Current conditions at 8:47 p.m. Clear skies. Temperature 52 degrees. Winds calm. That's going to change. There is a pause. 6 seconds. Then he continues. A weather system is approaching from the northeast. I'm going to be honest with you folks, because I've always been honest with you. I don't know what this system is. It is not on any chart I have access to. It is not on any satellite image. The National Weather Service has no advisory for our area. But I can see it from the station window, and I want to describe it for you, because I think you deserve to know what's coming. Another pause. He clears his throat. The sky to the northeast is dark, not storm dark, not cloud dark. It is a darkness that appears to be closer than the clouds. It is between us and the clouds. It is moving toward Harmon at a speed I would estimate, based on 30 years of watching weather, at about 4 miles per hour. Walking speed. The kind of speed that suggests it is in no hurry, because it knows we are not going anywhere. There is a sound in the background. It is difficult to identify from the tape. Mr. Hutchins, in his written account, describes it as a low hum, like a refrigerator magnified 100 times. Audio analysis suggests it is a sustained tone at approximately 31 Hz, below the threshold of comfortable hearing, but strong enough to produce a physical sensation in the chest. Martin Klein continues. Barometric pressure is dropping. Rapidly. My instrument here at the station reads 29.1 inches and falling. For context, the lowest barometric pressure ever recorded in a hurricane was 26.3. We are approaching that, and the sky is clear. There is no wind. The trees are not moving. Everything is still. The only thing that is moving is that darkness. And it is not moving the way weather moves. Moth It is moving the way something moves when it is walking toward you. At this point in the recording, there is a change in the ambient sound. The hum increases in volume. There is a second tone, slightly higher, that enters and then drops out. Martin Klein does not acknowledge it directly. 9:02 p.m. The darkness has reached the eastern edge of Harmon. I can see the Ridgeline Baptist Church from the station roof. It was visible 5 minutes ago. It is not visible now. The darkness has consumed it. Not obscured. Consumed. The steeple was there, and then it was not. Like someone turned off the lights on a section of the world. I want to be clear. The lights in town are still on. I can see the street lights on Millstone Road. I can see the neon of the Dairy Freeze. I can see headlights on Route 33. But where the darkness is, there is nothing. No reflection, no ambient glow. Just an absence that is not the absence of light. It is the absence of everything light would normally touch. 9:31 p.m. The darkness has reached the station parking lot. I am broadcasting from the booth now. I came down from the roof. I want to continue for as long as I can, because I think this is important, and because I promised you, when I took over this station from my father, that I would keep the signal alive no matter what. That was 23 years ago, and I have kept that promise through ice storms and power outages and the flood of '98, and I am going to keep it now. There is a sound change. The hum has become louder, and there is a rhythmic quality to it now, like breathing. Slow, deep, the kind of breathing that comes from something very large. The windows are dark, not dark like night, dark like the inside of a closed hand. I cannot see the parking lot. I cannot see the antenna array. I cannot see my truck. I can see the control board, and I can see the microphone, and I can see the clock. The clock reads 9:32. But I want to tell you something strange. The second hand is moving backward. I have watched it for a full minute. It is moving backward. I don't think time works the same way in the dark. There is a long pause. When Martin Klein speaks again, his voice has changed. Not frightened, not resigned. Something else. Something that might be called clarity. 9:51 p.m. The darkness is inside the station. I can see it at the edges of the booth. It is not like smoke or fog. It is like the walls have been erased. Where the wall was, there is now simply more of the dark. And the dark is not empty. I know I said it was an absence. I was wrong. It is full. It is the fullest thing I have ever encountered. It is full of something that is not light, and not sound, and not matter, but is undeniably there. I am continuing to broadcast. I do not know if the signal is reaching you. I do not know if there is a you to reach. But I am going to keep talking, because the alternative is silence, and I have never trusted silence. Silence is where things hide. 11:17 p.m. I have been broadcasting for over 2 hours. The darkness is everywhere now. I cannot see the control board. I am operating by touch. I know these controls the way I know my own hands. My father built this station from a kit, and I have maintained it every day since he died, and I can run it blind. I want to tell you what I have learned. The darkness speaks, not in words, in weather. It speaks in barometric pressure and temperature and wind direction. It is broadcasting, just like me. It has a forecast, and the forecast is this. There is a long inhalation sound, not Martin Klein. Something else. The forecast is permanent night. No sunrise. Not because the sun is gone, but because the space between here and the sun has been filled. The light is still being generated. It simply cannot reach us. There is something in the way. I am going to continue broadcasting until I cannot. If you can hear me, stay inside. Close your windows. Not because the dark cannot enter. It can. It will. But because the act of closing a window, of drawing a curtain, of pulling a door shut, is an act of faith. It says, I believe there is a difference between inside and outside. I believe that a wall means something. I believe that I am here and the dark is there. And those are two different places. Hold on to that. It may be the only thing that is true anymore. 1:46 a.m. The tape degrades here. There is significant distortion. Martin Klein's voice continues, but is increasingly difficult to separate from the background hum. The following fragments are the last recognizable words. Still here. Still broadcasting. The forecast for tomorrow is a long gap. Static. Then, if you can hear this, the frequency is another gap. Then, very faintly, my name is Martin Klein, and this is Wvkl, and the forecast is. The tape ends. The recording device stopped when its power supply was exhausted. Dale Hutchins reports that when daylight returned, or what passed for daylight, the station was intact. The equipment was functional. The antenna was transmitting. But Martin Klein was gone. His coffee was still warm on the desk. His jacket was on the back of his chair. The barometer on the wall read 0, not 0 inches of mercury. 0. The dial had no reading because the instrument had no concept of what it was measuring. The needle pointed to a space between the numbers, to a place where the gauge had no mark, because the pressure was not low or high. It was something else, something the barometer was not built to express. Wvkl resumed regular programming the following afternoon, automated, with no one at the controls. The weather forecasts continued to be generated by the station's computer. They were accurate. They were normal. But once a week, always at 8:47 p.m., the automation would briefly interrupt, and a voice. The audio analysis has confirmed as Martin Klein's, would deliver a forecast for a location that does not appear on any map. The forecast is always the same. Permanent night. No sunrise. The signal continues.